Good morning and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View. It is game day tomorrow. Yes, top of the table clash between Celtic and Aberdeen. Hearts' new manager has been making noises about trying to close the gap between Celtic and Rangers. I think he needs to focus on closing the gap between Hearts and Dundee United before he has any aspirations to try and get between Aberdeen and even Rangers, to say the least. But talking about the game this weekend, there is some fantastic news when it comes to the regards of a Celtic player. Yes, there is a Celtic player who is back in training. He's back in training before the clash with Aberdeen. Both Aberdeen and Celtic have won their opening 7 league games, and Celtic are ahead on a massive goal difference this week. And that massive goal difference will stay the same, or will it be increased with the Celtic win? And I think that I'm going to go for a 2-1 Celtic victory. I think it's going to be a close game. I think that Celtic will maybe even have to come from behind, dare I say it, in this game. But we'll wait and see. It is a 3 o'clock kickoff on a Saturday. Brendan Rodgers has got a big choice to make. Does he bring in the one? Of course he does. There's no choice to make about it at all. When you see the game that we have in the Champions League next week, you want to make sure that Cameron Carter-Vickers gets as much game as possible in this game. I think that they will play Cameron Carter-Vickers from the start, and they'll give Big Cammy 60 minutes to 65 minutes to play just to get his fitness levels back up. The 26-year-old hasn't been involved since limping off against Slovan Bratislava. This seems like a long time ago that that result came in. And Celtic were applauded for the result in the Champions League. And then it just shows you how quickly things can change at that level. But 7 matches unbeaten. We go to Celtic Park tomorrow, back home to paradise, back home where the champions play. And Aberdeen, they come top of the table as well. Well, the second top, joint top on the same points, with only a goal difference of 9. And it's all about how we play tomorrow. Cameron Carter-Vickers' recent injury issues has been significant. The fact that Trusty has came in, he was brought in to basically replace Liam Scales, which hasn't transpired because Cameron Carter-Vickers has been injured again at the beginning of the season. Will the manager stick Carter-Vickers in? Yes, because when you think about it, Greg Taylor is still out injured. So it'll be interesting to see what update we have on Greg Taylor. And not just the ongoing injury issue with Greg Taylor. And I'll also be asked about the upcoming transfer window. Or will Brendan Rodgers just backfire that away and say, look, we're nowhere near transfer window time. But Greg Taylor can talk to anyone in January. So people will start asking the questions about Greg Taylor. And is Alex Bailly good enough to replace him on the longer term? With links to the one and only, yes, we're going to have to say it, the one and only Kieran Tierney, and that picture that took place exactly a week ago today. Brendan Rodgers will undoubtedly today be asked about the fact that, how's Kieran doing? How's Kieran doing? And is there any chance of him coming back on loan at the next transfer window? I think that a loan would more than likely be possible if Greg Taylor is sold in the next window, but that's all to come in the future. And no doubt a lot of questions will be fired to Brendan Rodgers today about Kieran Tierney and the left back situation at Celtic. It's just Celtic haven't helped themselves at all by putting out that picture. And we all know that it was all about raising funds and all the rest of it, but it was the Celtic Foundation that put the picture out. It was obviously cleared by the hierarchy at Celtic for them to put that picture out. And all it's done is add to speculation. All it's done is add to the speculation whether Kieran Tierney should, first of all, come back, and will he come back? It's all crazy, isn't it? Anyway, what do you think the scoreline will be? I'm going to go for 2-1. And it's going to be a fantastic game. Celtic were mentioned by the new Hearts manager. Excuse me. Yeah, Celtic were mentioned by the new Hearts manager, who was paraded in front of the media. And the headline says that the Celtic and Sevco gap is not insurmountable. Interesting. Says the new Hearts boss. Says he looks for the long term. The Hearts managers get long term, I suppose they do. They get a couple of seasons. That's long term in Scottish football, isn't it? The new man in charge says the immediate aim is to get off the bottom of the table, and is not looking beyond that. Well, why you got a headline saying that the gap between Celtic and we think we could close. Jesus, that's embarrassing by the media, isn't it? And it just shows you the way that the media thinks and who cares? Anyway, with the news that Cameron Carter-Vickers is back in training, it's all going to be about who plays in the midfield. For me, the back four is pretty much, it's going to pick itself. We know who's going to be in that. I think that the manager will go with Callum McGregor. I think he'll go with Paulo Bernardo, who's been in fine form for his country once again. The under-21 Portuguese captain is in fine form for his nation. And I just think if he keeps on doing it at Champions League level, it's not going to be too long before he gets the call up to the main Portuguese squad, because I think there's one old guy in the Portuguese squad that basically needs to hang up his boots, doesn't he? Yes, we all know who we're talking about. Old Mr. Grumpy himself, who stormed off the Scotland pitch because the draw and Scotland celebrated like they'd got a win. But anyway, it'll be interesting to see who plays up front. We know who the wingers will be. It's going to be Dyson and Kuhn. I think that he will go in the midfield with Callum, Arne Engels and Paulo Bernardo, because those three together just seem to have clicked. Rio Hatate doesn't seem to have clicked with anyone in the midfield this season, once again at the start of the season, and I think that he is missing the one and only Matt O'Reilly, who's seemingly returning to fitness for his new club. But there is other news, and obviously I think up front Kyogo will start. He will start with Kyogo to try and get us off to a firing start, and then the one and only Adam Ida will come on in the second half. But there's more news when it comes to the SPFL, and talking about Celtic basically, and Pyro. And we know that Pyro is a thing that is in the Celtic Park on once a season at least. But they've been talking about bringing in 10-year bans, 10-year football banning orders is on the table at Holyrood. This is a story that isn't going to go away, obviously, after Celtic got another fine in Europe. But it's not just that. The SPFL are set to have fresh talks with the Scottish Government and the police and the Crown Office as they want to get tough on fireworks in the grounds. I don't want to see any supporters getting banned, and I'm not going to say it anymore about the fireworks situation, because we'll just wait and see how it transpires and see what happens with it. Because let's face it, it's something that they will try and crack down on even more. That is it for this morning's version of the Celtic News. It is going to be an interesting day for the Celtic manager. I am running out the door early this morning. I want to do a video after Brendan Rodgers has done his this afternoon. So once he's done that, check out the channel and we'll do a live and we'll talk about what Brendan Rodgers has said about Kieran Tierney. Hopefully he's been asked about the ongoing situation with Greg Taylor, and will or will not Cameron Carter-Vickers start, and who else is fit after international duty. And on that note, have an absolutely fantastic day, Celtic fans all around the world.